Oh no, we have some major news about most of my queen ants and ant colony. And last month, I filmed some ants and other life inhabiting Florida, and I uploaded those videos a few weeks ago and the last week. But my ant collection is shrinking. I even lost new queen ants I haven't featured yet, and my odorous house ant colony survived. You won't want to miss this important news in the Ant Bio Stories Ant channel. And don't forget to subscribe. Before we go on to the ant updates, I saw the Florida turtle ant, or met Ants Canada at AnimalCon USA. I placed in the descriptions a playlist of our last two videos of me at Florida, and trust me, it seems that I wasn't as excited when I saw those amazing ants, but when I wasn't filming, I was unbelieved with all those cool ants there. But when I came home, I'm not gonna kill it. Everything seemed normal. The fruit flies were still thriving when I gave them a banana. Anyway, in my last video, I featured a pavement ant queen. And the last video, I featured that ant. She hasn't laid eggs, and then she hasn't laid eggs until I released her because I feel like she wouldn't ever lay eggs, and she wasn't feeling okay. I mean, she might be okay, but I had to release her before we went on a vacation to Florida because I feel like when I was enjoying, she could be stressed and not feeling happy and uncomfortable and stuff like that. So I just released her. But I didn't release her in my nearby Domino's store, but instead I released her in my front yard because I didn't have enough time to go to Domino's in my short time in the area before we go on the airplane. But I really, really miss her. I'll never forget her, and I hope she will lay eggs or know her purpose in life, her dreams in life. And I haven't found any paper ants before I went on a vacation, so I just released her, and I believe nuptial flight was over. That's it for explaining about that queen ant. This is my queen high noon ant, scientifically called Phalaenopsis pruinosis. I guess that's how you say it. Maybe she's Dory Myrmix, but I'm not sure because they don't live in the northern side of my state. I heard they do live in my state, but not in my area. So I have never even seen Dory Myrmix before in my area, but I have seen them in Florida. In my last video, remember? If you watched my last video. So now she has more eggs in pupae. You might not see it very well, but there are some eggs in pupae somewhere. And she ran out of water completely, but I moistened her cotton, so don't worry, she couldn't be a little hydrated now. And the fungus, the mold, is starting to affect her a little bit more, but I don't think it might be bad for her. So I don't think it's really bad. I don't think she'll be okay. Now she has a name, and her name is Queen Sheba. See, this is the most clearest I've ever filmed her. In my last video featuring this queen, I commented down on what should we name this queen, and one of you asked to be called Queen Sheba, and I hearted it and thumbs upped it. And see her? She's moving. And now that's her name. And I'm going to be moving her into a tubs and tube setup as soon as soon as she gets her first workers. Oh, she's beautiful. If you see her, look. Oh my god, that's so clear. I hope she will be okay. She might be laying an egg. I'll be putting her back. This video is supposed to be a sad video, and it is, but I have some good news. Now, my ant room is called Antropolis. And please excuse the mess, because one of the bathrooms are under construction, so they have to put the things in here onto a queen ant that I don't have anymore, because, so this is crazy. You know what? Remember my last video about my queen ants, and I told you that one of the queens passed away because she's thirsty? But guess what? Before July ended and before my vacation, I found another queen ant. One who that looked like the one who died, and I found her in my deck, the same place I caught and released my queen that died. And so I placed that queen into a bottle, then I placed her into a milk jug with sand and toilet paper that's moist. And I put a straw with some water in it and hope that she will be okay. But when I came back, she was okay, but when I checked on her last time, she actually died. And she was actually covered in fungus, completely covered in fungus. And I just was so sad. And I shouldn't have I shouldn't have put sand there, especially sand that was actually used for my other queen ant that died, the same species. And I feel really bad for her. It was the worst mistake I've ever done. I shouldn't have done that. And I should have put her in a test tube setup, but I didn't have any test tube setups. I should have just put moistened napkins, but the thing has to be 100% clean and there's no sand. Especially sand that could possibly have germs and could kill your next queen if you used it for your next queen. I guess the fungus came from the sand, I believe so. Rest in peace for that poor queen. Hopefully, she could get revived again, and I learned to never use sand, especially unclean sand. This is my field ant queen, and she is a gorgeous black, silver, and gold ant. You might not tell from here, but she's really beautiful. And when I came back from vacation, I noticed that there's eggs. And let's see if she still has them. I guess there might be eggs. This is not eggs though. It's just some white stuff from the tube. I don't know where the eggs are. Maybe they're on the napkin, but I'm not sure. But what really scared me is that there's now mold. You see here? That is really scary. I'm gonna have to deal with this mold. You see right here? I have to do something before this queen or the colony gets affected. And tell me at the comment section if you actually spotted some eggs. See, now this is clear. Do you think you spotted any eggs? Please tell me in the comment section. I'm not too sure. Last time I guess I did saw some large eggs. Formica eggs are actually kind of large. Okay, do you think she looks really beautiful? She's really silver and gold and black. And also leave your name suggestions in the comments for this queen to have a name, because she still doesn't have a name. I have to keep her as safe as possible. She's so precious. And I have to do that to all my other queens. They're all precious anyway. So, remember my Campanatus Nearcticus queen that passed away again? The same day I discovered that my Funnelant queen died. I'm so sorry, but I was really hoping for her to found an army, but she died. And she was fine when I came back from my vacation and I saw some egg batches, but her test tube started to get more moldy, and it was so hard to get the cotton out when I changed it. But I did, and I hope her brood is okay. It might have not, and I'm infinitely sorry for the brood and fungus. I put the moldy cotton on the fresh test tube setup, and I think that's why she died, because of the fungus or other thing. Not much air, too moist, too tight, or all of them. Infinitely sorry for her and the other ones that died. Her brood and maybe the fungus. Now on to our fifth one. Sorry. And final one. Rest in peace. She didn't even have a name. So sad. If you're wondering what this is, it's the bottle right here. If you're wondering what this is a queen ant, the place where she died. This is what it looks like in the bottom. There's also this orange thing right here. And I'm planning to release her back into the wild soon. Someday, back to Lake Ecatink. Also being fertile too, so that's why she probably died. Covered in mold, and I'm not sure where she is right now. But she was covered in mold, and I'm so sorry for her. Rest in peace. And if she had brood, if those white things were brood, I'm so sorry for their brood too. There's more. And this queen is still quite identified. And this was her setup. This right here is her setup. And I put the stuff out. Now about the queen. A few days ago before my vacation, and I thought she was an older house ant queen, but I don't think so. Maybe when I came back from my vacation, she was okay and still there. But when I checked on her again, she escaped. And I found out why. Because this little hole on the napkin, and I couldn't find her ever since. All there was in her setup was, I guess, is her brood. She left that way, which makes me feel sad. Hopefully she is in the house. Hope none are dead. Hope she is still alive. If she died, I will release her back to the place I found her as soon as possible. I didn't even get to feature this queen or the Campano's queen. She's alive, but if she's okay, I promise to make a video of her in the future. And before I was going on a vacation to Florida, I was going to upload another video of an update of all the queens and colonies that I had at the time, but when I was trying to film those cool ants, my space was full, and I had to delete many old footages, including most of the update videos, while I was editing that video, so those clips are lost, I guess. Now here's something exciting. I have this new, not really new, but it was around a month ago. It's an acrobat ant colony, and I found this ant colony in my living room. And when I was I was wondering why were there a lot of ants, and then when I looked, I saw a queen there. So I got a water bottle. Then I took the queen and took as many workers as I can. Then I moved them into another container, not this container yet, but I moved them into a different container. Then after that, I moved them into this container. And unfortunately, 2 workers died, and I'm so sorry for them. I'm not too sure why they died, but maybe they were hungry or something. Maybe they were old. I'm not too sure. And you can see this orange right here. And behind it, there is this test tube over there with water. But the water, I think it ran out. Okay, I cannot show you the queen and the workers because they are hiding and I don't want to disturb them. Here, I put tape to cover up the setup so the ants will get out. They won't get out. I feed them and I used to put the food here. Earlier, a fruit fly was over here and just, you can smell it, but it couldn't get to taste it. And I'm sorry for the fruit flies. I'm gonna give them some fruit because it's insect love forever. I can release them back to my living room if I ever need to. Maybe I might if I check later. I'm gonna check next time. If they're doing well, I'm going to keep them and upgrade their home. But if they're not doing well, I'm gonna release them back to my living room in a hole close to a hole. If you hear something, that was they're just fixing the bathroom, so please excuse that noise. And there's also wild workers, the wild family members, and I hope they're not alone. I hope they have their queen with them. I hope they're polygynous, so hopefully I just took one of their queens and they're not going to live without a queen. Again, please excuse the noise. Yes, you have to do maintenance on your ant colony, so that's why you have to clean up and give them new food every time, like about a week. If your colony is small, give them about a week. But if your colony is big, then maybe more. Definitely more, because the colony could possibly die easily. Anyway, I hope this colony does well, and fingers crossed. Now, I let them not feel exposed so much, so hopefully they will lay eggs. I hope so. Colony would succeed, and their colony would succeed. I found a queen ant at my new school, and she looked like a pavement ant queen, but when I caught her and laid her placed into a test tube setup, I found out that she died last time, and I'm not sure why. Perhaps she died because she's infertile, or maybe fungus, because I did saw some fungus, or maybe something else. Maybe that queen is probably a big-headed ant queen, but I'm not so sure. I guess I should be more careful about being clean. I guess I was being clean when I was making her setup, and mold came from the queen. But anyway, rest in peace. I'm infinitely sorry for her too. Why so many bad news? What a rough day. But there is one more colony that we can check if it is okay. And that colony is the Odor's house ant colony. Let's go and check if they're okay. There's only one colony. Before, they had millipedes in their terrarium. I haven't featured them, but when I came back from my vacation, they died, and I'm so sorry for them. Infinitely sorry. Rest in peace. And I put them outside, and later it started flooding more than once. My terrarium, I was not really paying attention because I was so busy in school. So when I looked at my terrarium, it was flooded. And then I even saw a dead beetle there too, and I'm so sorry for the beetle too. Infinitely sorry. Rest in peace. So, how does the millipedes die? I was hoping that they would burrow in the soil, but they didn't. Or I was hoping they would hide underneath a rock or something, but they didn't. I should have just kept that napkin crumbled piece of paper towel so they can just live in there if I want to keep them. And then plan on releasing them maybe. Or keep them. They didn't chose to hide anywhere, so I should have kept that crumbled piece of napkin. So sorry for those poor millipedes. Now you're wondering, what does it look like right now? Well, I'll show you. And the oldest house ant colony, where have they been? I have never found them ever since. I tried looking everywhere, I haven't seen them. If you wonder what the terrarium looks like right now, here is what it looks like. This is what the terrarium looks like today. And I know it looks really messy because of the flood, and there's a high chance that the ant colony is not there, or if it is there, it is possibly dead. And I'm so sorry for them, because how could they survive all that water? And I'm going to take these rocks. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a shovel, aka this old teaspoon. And before I dig, I'm going to have to remove everything out of here. The rocks, plants, wood, everything. And some things you might have noticed changed is that there used to be baby powder. I mean, not baby powder. I used a different barrier called olive oil, and it was not effective. Instead, it actually killed some ants. It made them drown. So I changed my mind, and it was a terrible idea. I should never believe that baby powder was a good idea. And also, there used to be, like, I used to tape and put this toilet paper to cover it this hole right here. There's a hole in here for the ants to get out. So I covered all of them. And I'm so sad that this plant died. I'm going to put it free. So I'm going to get everything like out. I'm gonna get all the rocks off and the wood and the plants too, carefully. And also, this plant has survived though. It's thriving. It's really thriving, as well as this plant. It's thriving as well. I also saw some other plants, like some new plants started sprouting, but they're covered by the soil. But now plants are starting to thrive. Oh yeah, here. This is the one. Some plants are thriving in here, but this one is not. So sorry for it. It's old. Okay, now let's start doing it. First, okay, see, I get everything out, and all the rocks, plants, moss, everything here. And I'm gonna check for more in case there is any. I'm gonna make sure if everything is still there. If all my stuff is not there. See, all the rocks, I'm going to keep them and use them for another future terrarium. Man, I'm disappointed that this terrarium is not successful. Maybe it might be. We have to make sure and dig inside to make sure if the ant colony is in there. But I'm going to keep these rocks and use them hopefully for a future terrarium, but I'm going to keep them though. And I'm going to check inside. Wish me luck. Hopefully the ant colony is in there. I'm going to check. I'm going to dig in there. There's only one way to find out, and it's by digging. We really miss our ant colonies, so we have to see if they're there. Guess what? I'm so sorry, but the colony must have died or moved out. But I'm gonna really miss them. I looked in the soil. You can see here. I looked in the soil. I digged all over the soil, but I couldn't find it. And I'm so sorry. Maybe they moved out, or maybe died. And I'm so sorry for them too, if they're not doing well. I know this is so sad. For the past month and a half, I've been losing more queens and an ant colony too. But guess what? I just got a new ant colony. And they need to be moved out of this bottle ASAP. And I'm going to be featuring them next week. Thanks for watching this whole video. And next week's video is going to be a surprise, so be sure to subscribe and share. And you can also comment if you like to grow our channel. Trust me, many videos that are exciting are on the way, and no videos like this. So we'll see you on our next video.